What if I told you that the reason you're unhappy might have nothing to do with your life, but everything to do with what you're looking at? Think about it. You wake up with a roof over your head. You have food to eat. Someone, somewhere, cares about you. You have survived every difficult day that has brought you to this moment. And yet, one scroll through social media can make you feel like your life isn't enough. You see someone buying a new house. Someone traveling the world. Someone driving a luxury car. Someone getting married. Someone becoming successful. And suddenly, you look at your own life and think, why don't I have that? But here's the dangerous part. While you're busy looking at what someone else has, you may be completely missing the blessings already sitting in your own hands. And the saddest thing is this. You could spend your entire life chasing a better life, only to discover one day that you were already living moments you would later wish you could have back. So let me ask you something. If you woke up tomorrow and lost everything you currently take for granted, what would you desperately wish you could have back? Your family. Your health. Your home. Your ordinary mornings. The people whose messages you sometimes ignore. The simple meals you barely notice. The quiet moments you think are boring. Sometimes, we don't realize how valuable something is until we no longer have it. Today, I'm going to tell you a simple story about a man who spent years believing he needed more. More money. More land. More success. More possessions. Until one wise woman showed him that he had been searching for happiness in the wrong place. And what she taught him with 2 simple cups of water changed his entire life. Stay with me until the end, because the lesson in this story might make you look at your own life differently tonight. My name is Jofa. And this is the story of the happiness you already have. Long ago, in a quiet village surrounded by green hills, there lived a young farmer named Noah. Noah was strong. He was hardworking. He was honest. And every morning, long before the rest of the village awakened, Noah would rise from his bed and walk into his fields. He grew wheat. He planted vegetables. He cared for a few fruit trees. His house was small, but it was clean. His family was safe. There was food on the table. There was a roof over his head. And there was peace in his home. By most people's standards, Noah had a good life. But Noah didn't think so. There was one thing that slowly stole his happiness. Comparison. Every time Noah looked at his neighbors, he saw something he didn't have. One neighbor owned a larger farm. Another had several strong horses. A merchant in the village wore expensive clothes and traveled to distant cities. Noah noticed all of it. And whenever he saw someone with more than him, a thought would quietly appear in his mind. If only I had what they have. If only my farm were bigger. If only I had more money. If only I could live like that. Then I would finally be happy. At first, these thoughts seemed harmless. But little by little, they changed Noah. He stopped enjoying the things that once brought him peace. He stopped listening to the birds singing in the morning. He stopped noticing the golden sunrise over his fields. When his family gathered around the dinner table, Noah was physically present. But his mind was somewhere else. He was thinking about the neighbor with the larger farm. He was thinking about the merchant with expensive clothes. He was thinking about the life he believed he deserved. And the more he compared, the more unhappy he became. One afternoon, an elderly woman arrived in the village. Everyone knew her as Grandma Miriam. She wore simple, old clothes. She carried a wooden walking stick. And her face was marked by many years of life. But there was something unusual about her. Her eyes were gentle. Her smile was peaceful. And when she spoke, people listened. The villagers welcomed her warmly. They offered her food and a place to rest. And when Grandma Miriam met Noah, she immediately noticed something was wrong. She looked at him and asked gently, "Why do you look so worried, young man?" Noah sighed. "I work every day," he said. "I do everything I can. But my life feels too small. Other people have so much more than I do. How can I be happy when I have so little?" Grandma Miriam smiled. She didn't argue with him. She didn't tell him that he was wrong. Instead, she simply said, "Tomorrow morning, meet me before sunrise at the old oak tree outside the village." Noah was curious. "What will we do there?" "You will see," she replied. The next morning, before the sun appeared over the hills, Noah met Grandma Miriam beneath the old oak tree. Together, they began walking. They walked past the fields. They crossed a narrow path through the forest. And eventually, they climbed a high hill overlooking the entire village. When they reached the top, Grandma Miriam stopped. She pointed toward a large mansion in the distance. "Do you see that house?" Noah nodded. "That belongs to one of the richest men in the village. Go and ask him one question. Ask him if he has peace." Noah was surprised. But he followed her instructions. He walked down the hill and approached the mansion. When he entered, he was amazed. The house was beautiful. There were golden lamps, expensive furniture, beautiful decorations. Servants moved quietly from room to room. Everything Noah had imagined would make a person happy seemed to be inside that house. Finally, Noah met the rich man. He asked him, "Are you happy?" The man looked at him. For a moment, he said nothing. Then he sighed. "I have wealth," he said. "I have beautiful things. But every night, I worry. I worry someone will steal what I own. I don't know whom I can trust. I spend my days protecting what I have, and my nights worrying about losing it." The man looked exhausted. "I cannot remember the last time I truly slept peacefully." Noah thanked him and left. As he walked away, he felt confused. The man had everything Noah thought he wanted. Yet he wasn't at peace. When Noah returned to the hill, Grandma Miriam pointed toward another house. "That is the home of a successful merchant. Go and speak with him." Again, Noah obeyed. The merchant welcomed him. Inside the house were boxes filled with valuable goods. There were coins. There were expensive fabrics. There were treasures brought from distant lands. Noah asked the same question. "Are you happy?" The merchant smiled sadly. "I have made money," he said. "But I have paid a price for it. I spend most of my life traveling. I am always thinking about my next deal. My next journey. My next opportunity." Then his voice became quiet. "My children have grown up while I was away. They hardly know me anymore." Noah walked away in silence. For the first time, he began to understand something. Maybe having more didn't automatically mean being happier. Maybe wealth could solve some problems. But it could not buy peace. Grandma Miriam then led Noah toward the edge of the forest. There stood a tiny cottage. It was smaller than Noah's own house. An elderly couple lived there. They owned almost nothing. Their furniture was old. Their clothes were simple. Their kitchen contained only a few basic things. Yet when Noah entered, he saw something he hadn't seen in the mansion. Joy. The old couple were sitting together, laughing as they shared a simple bowl of soup. Noah watched them for a moment. Then he asked, "How can you be so cheerful when you have so little?" The old woman smiled. "We wake up together every morning," she said. "We have food for today. We have a roof over our heads. We have each other. And every morning, we give thanks for what we have." She looked at her husband. Then she smiled. "What more do we truly need?" Those words stayed with Noah. What more do we truly need? He repeated them silently as he walked back with Grandma Miriam. Eventually, they reached a quiet river. The water flowed gently over the stones. Grandma Miriam sat beside the river and picked up 2 cups. One was made of gold. The other was made of plain clay. She filled both cups with fresh water. Then she handed the golden cup to Noah. "Drink." Noah drank. Then she gave him the clay cup. "Now drink from this." Noah drank again. Grandma Miriam looked at him. Did the water taste different? Noah shook his head. No. It was the same. Grandma Miriam smiled. Exactly. She pointed toward the 2 cups. People spend their entire lives fighting for the golden cup. They believe that if they have the golden cup, they will finally be happy. They want the bigger house, the expensive car, the beautiful clothes, the impressive title, the successful business, the admiration of others. She held up the clay cup. But they forget something. The cup is not what gives them life. It is the water inside. Noah stared at the cups. And suddenly, something became clear. He had been chasing the cup. He had forgotten to enjoy the water. For years, Noah had been looking at other people's lives and thinking, they have more. But he had never stopped to ask, what do I already have? Grandma Miriam continued. When you compare your life with someone else's, you become blind to your own blessings. Comparison closes your eyes. Gratitude opens them. Those words changed Noah. Not because his circumstances suddenly became perfect. Nothing magical happened. His farm didn't suddenly become enormous. Gold did not appear in his house. His problems didn't disappear. But something inside Noah changed. The next morning, he woke before sunrise. He stepped outside. For the first time in years, he stopped. He looked at the sky. The sun slowly appeared over the hills. Golden light spread across his fields. Birds were singing. The air was cool. And Noah smiled. He realized he had seen that sunrise hundreds of times. But he had never truly noticed it. That morning, he walked through his fields differently. He touched the wheat. He looked at the fruit trees. He watched the birds. He thought about his family. And for the first time, he whispered, "Thank you." From that day forward, Noah began noticing the small blessings around him. He enjoyed simple meals with his family. He laughed with his neighbors. He stopped competing with people. When someone bought a bigger house, Noah didn't feel jealous. He wished them well. When another farmer had a better harvest, Noah congratulated him. When someone became successful, Noah no longer saw their success as proof that his own life was a failure. He had learned something important. Someone else's blessing does not make your blessing smaller. Someone else's success does not make you unsuccessful. Someone else's happiness does not take happiness away from you. Months passed. And people began noticing that Noah had changed. He wasn't richer. He didn't own more land. He hadn't suddenly become famous. But his face looked different. There was peace in his eyes. One day, a young boy approached him. The boy asked, "Noah, how did you become so happy?" Noah smiled. He looked around at his small farm. Then he looked toward his family. Finally, he said, "Nothing around me changed. Only my heart changed." Years later, Grandma Miriam returned to the village. She found Noah sitting outside his home with his family. The sun was setting behind the hills. The sky was painted orange and gold. Noah was quietly watching the sunset. Grandma Miriam smiled. She asked him, Have you found what you were looking for? Noah looked at her. Then he smiled. Yes. For many years, I searched everywhere for happiness. I thought it was in money. I thought it was in a bigger farm. I thought it was in having what other people had. But I was wrong. Happiness had been waiting inside my own home all along. Grandma Miriam nodded. Then she said something Noah would never forget. The richest person is not the one who owns the most. The richest person is the one who needs the least to feel thankful. Think about that for a moment. The richest person is not necessarily the person with the biggest bank account. Not the person with the biggest house. Not the person with the most followers. Not the person wearing the most expensive clothes. Sometimes, the richest person is the one who can sit quietly at the end of the day and say, I have enough. That doesn't mean you should stop dreaming. It doesn't mean you should stop working. It doesn't mean you should give up your goals. Contentment is not laziness. Gratitude is not a lack of ambition. You can dream bigger. While appreciating today, you can work harder. While being thankful for what you already have, you can want a better future. Without hating your present. That is the difference between ambition and endless dissatisfaction. There will always be something more. There will always be someone richer. Someone more successful. Someone more attractive. Someone younger. Someone more talented. Someone living in a bigger house. Someone traveling to places you've never seen. If your happiness depends on having what they have, you will always be running. And the finish line will keep moving. But gratitude allows you to stop for a moment. To breathe. To look around. And to recognize. I may not have everything I want. But I have something worth appreciating. Think about your own life. Maybe you have a family member who loves you. Maybe you have a friend you can call when life becomes difficult. Maybe you have a safe place to sleep tonight. Maybe you have food on your table. Maybe you have another morning waiting for you. Maybe you have another opportunity to begin again. We often overlook these things because they have become ordinary. But ordinary does not mean worthless. The sunrise is ordinary. Breathing is ordinary. A conversation with someone you love can be ordinary. A warm meal can be ordinary. Coming home can be ordinary. Yet one day, we may realize that these ordinary moments were actually the most precious parts of our lives. There is another powerful example that reminds us of this lesson. Nick Vujicic was born without arms and legs. Many people might have looked at his circumstances and assumed that a joyful and meaningful life would be impossible. Yet he chose not to spend his life focusing only on what he lacked. Instead, he focused on what he could do. He chose hope. He chose purpose. He chose to encourage others. And his story has inspired millions of people around the world. His life reminds us of something important. A perfect life does not create happiness. A grateful heart can find happiness even in an imperfect life. This doesn't mean that difficulties aren't real. Pain is real. Loss is real. Financial struggles are real. Failure is real. There will be seasons when gratitude feels difficult. There will be mornings when getting out of bed feels like a victory. There will be moments when life doesn't make sense. But even during difficult seasons, we can search for one small thing to appreciate. Not everything has to be perfect before we are allowed to feel grateful. Sometimes gratitude begins with something very small. I'm still here. I have another chance. Someone cares about me. Today, I can begin again. That can be enough to take the first step. So perhaps the question we should ask ourselves isn't, what am I missing? Perhaps the better question is, what am I overlooking? What blessings have become invisible because you see them every day? What person in your life have you stopped appreciating because you assume they will always be there? What simple moment have you been too busy to notice? What are you chasing so intensely that you have forgotten to enjoy the journey? And perhaps most importantly, what if you already have more than you realize? Noah spent years wishing for another life. And while he was busy wishing, his own life was passing by. The birds were still singing. The sun was still rising. His family was still sitting beside him. His fields were still growing. But he couldn't see any of it because his eyes were fixed on what he didn't have. Don't make the same mistake. Don't wait until you lose something before you realize its value. Don't wait for a difficult season to appreciate peaceful days. Don't wait until someone is gone to appreciate their presence. Don't wait until tomorrow to be grateful for today. Because life is happening right now. Not someday. Not when you become successful. Not when you become rich. Not when you finally get everything you want. Right now. This moment. And perhaps happiness isn't waiting for you somewhere in the future. Perhaps it is quietly sitting beside you, waiting to be noticed. So today, before you continue chasing the next thing, take a moment. Look around you. Take a deep breath. Think about the people who love you. Think about the opportunities you have. Think about the lessons you've learned. Think about how far you've already come. And say, even quietly, thank you. You don't have to be grateful for everything that has happened to you. But you can search for something worth being grateful for. You don't have to stop wanting more. But you can appreciate what you already have. You don't have to give up your dreams. But you don't have to sacrifice today's peace just to reach tomorrow's goals. Dream bigger. Work harder. Keep growing. Keep learning. Keep moving forward. But don't forget to enjoy the water while you're searching for the golden cup. Because one day, you may look back and realize the life you were desperately trying to escape was actually filled with moments you would give anything to experience again. So don't let comparison steal your peace. Don't let someone else's success make you blind to your own progress. Don't let the desire for more make you forget the beauty of enough. Remember Noah. Remember the golden cup. And remember the simple truth Grandma Miriam taught him. The cup is not the treasure. The water is. Your life may not look like someone else's. And that's okay. Your journey is your own. You don't need another person's life to make yours meaningful. You don't need everything to be perfect to be grateful. And you don't need everything you want to experience happiness. Sometimes, you simply need to see clearly what is already in front of you. So tonight, before you close your eyes, ask yourself one simple question. What is one blessing in my life that I often forget to be thankful for? Maybe write it down. Maybe tell someone. Maybe simply hold it in your heart. Because gratitude has a remarkable way of changing the way we see the world. And sometimes, when we change the way we see our life begins to feel completely different. And now I want you to do something very simple. Before you leave this video, stop for just 5 seconds. Look around you. Think about one thing in your life that you often take for granted. Maybe it's your mother. Maybe it's your father. Maybe it's your children. Maybe it's a friend. Maybe it's your health. Maybe it's your home. Maybe it's simply the fact that you woke up this morning and were given another chance to live. Now, say quietly to yourself, I am grateful for this. Because sometimes, happiness doesn't begin when we get more. Sometimes, happiness begins when we finally notice what we already have. And I want you to share that blessing with someone else. Comment below one thing you are grateful for today. Your comment might remind another person to appreciate something they have forgotten. And if this story gave you even a small moment of peace, hope, or inspiration, don't leave yet. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because every week we share powerful timeless stories designed to help you find wisdom, strength, gratitude, and hope in everyday life. And before you go, remember Noah. Remember the 2 cups. Remember the water. Don't spend your whole life chasing the golden cup and forget to enjoy the water you already have. Dream bigger. Work harder. Keep moving forward. But never forget to be grateful for where you are today. Because one day, you may realize that the ordinary life you were trying so hard to escape was actually the life you once prayed for. So look around. Appreciate your people. Appreciate your journey. Appreciate this moment. And most importantly, appreciate the life you already have. Until the next story. Stay grateful. Stay hopeful. And keep believing that your best days are still ahead. Thank you for listening.